In this video, we're looking at several strong storm systems that are headed toward the country. Heavy snow is possible on the northern side of these, but on the southern end of things, the pattern is becoming ripe for a multi-day severe weather event. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all possible. Let's get into the specifics. Hey everybody, Will here back again to talk about the weather, and as usual, we got a lot to talk about. We have a slight risk in place across the panhandle of Florida, Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Orlando, Cape Coral, and Clearwater. You guys are all under a slight risk. Tornado threat today is pretty low, but there could be an isolated tornado or two. However, it is very unlikely. The big threat, however, is going to be damaging wind gusts, and that is highest right across the central portion of Florida. If we take a look at timing for these storms, at 6 o'clock the line is starting to approach. By 8 p.m., 9 p.m. it is starting to go through the middle of Florida, and right here is where that damaging wind gust threat is going to be the highest. And as we go into 10, 11, and 12, you can see that line moving across parts of the state. Damaging wind gusts and maybe even a weak spin-up tornado are possible, and as we go into tomorrow morning, this thing is out of here. The timing for this is going to be between 9 and midnight for much of central Florida. Damaging wind gusts are the biggest threat. Tomorrow's threat is a bit lower, but it does cover a bigger area. We got a marginal risk from Florida all the way up into South Carolina and parts of southern North Carolina as well. Tornado threat is low, but there could be a tornado, and this would be most likely in parts of Georgia. Damaging winds are possible over much of this area. Not too high, however, there could be a couple isolated damaging wind gusts. There also is a threat for hail. Shouldn't be too widespread, but a couple isolated reports of large hail and damaging winds are all possible. By the time we go into Thursday, we got several areas of severe weather threats. We got one across parts of southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas, northwest Louisiana, and southwest Arkansas. We got one across parts of southeast Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and the southern tip of Alabama. And we got another area over here in the mid-Atlantic. These areas are all pretty low risk, and the Storm Prediction Center is mentioning that damaging winds and large hail are the biggest threats. However, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. As we go into Friday, into the weekend, this is where things start to get interesting. We have a severe weather threat Friday afternoon for parts of the same areas that are under the marginal risk on Thursday. Southeast Louisiana, southern Mississippi, the southern half of Alabama, parts of southwest Georgia, as well as much of the panhandle of Florida. You guys are all under a slight risk for severe weather. It's worth noting that the Storm Prediction Center is saying that tornadoes are possible in this area on Friday. We'll get more details as we get closer to that event, but it's still something we need to keep an eye on. Now we'll take a look at day 7. This is for Monday of next week. This is where things really start to kick off. I'll show you guys why that is in just a second here. But we got a big area of slight risk across much of the eastern half of Texas, parts of western Louisiana, as well as southwest Arkansas. The Storm Prediction Center is also saying that tornadoes are possible in this area, as well as damaging winds and large hail. And lastly, we'll get into day 8, Tuesday. Another big slight risk. Much of Louisiana, much of Mississippi, much of Alabama, as well as the tip of the Florida Panhandle. Once again, Storm Prediction Center is saying tornadoes are possible. I'll show you guys why that is now. We'll take a look at the models. Alrighty, so we'll take a look at what's going on in the weather right now. We got this upper level low right here spinning over Arkansas. This isn't a huge storm, but it did pack a punch yesterday. It brought a lot of severe weather to this part of Texas. Large hail was the main threat, and there was quite a bit of it. So we currently got rain ongoing across parts of Arkansas and Mississippi, and this storm system is going to be the driver of tonight's severe weather threat across parts of Florida. And you can see as we go into the afternoon, into the evening, that line of storm starts to form offshore, and overnight it starts to push into Florida, and then it finally falls apart. And that's where those damaging wind gusts are going to be the biggest threat. And as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, where that severe weather threat is possible across parts of the southeast, you can see some of these isolated cells popping up. This is where that large hail threat is going to be the greatest, and maybe even a tornado. As we go into Wednesday night into Thursday, this pushes offshore, and then we have another system setting up across the central United States. And you can see it really starts to organize over Oklahoma. You got some snow and rain and maybe even a couple strong storms. And this is as far out as the NAM model goes, so now we'll switch over and take a look at the GFS. So if we look over at the GFS, we can see this low pressure forms across Oklahoma, and down ahead of it we got warm moist air coming up, and this is where that severe weather threat's going to be on Thursday. As we go through Thursday afternoon into the overnight, this really starts to strengthen across parts of Kansas, Iowa, up into Wisconsin, and as we go toward the weekend, it really starts to slide up to the northeast. Again, severe weather will be possible Friday into Saturday across parts of the southeast. And we got rain and snow ongoing on the northern side. And Friday night into Saturday, it slides off to the northeast, bringing more snow to places like Chicago possibly, maybe even northern Indiana seeing some flakes. And then it finally gets out of here. And then right behind that is our really big storm system that's going to have this multi-day severe weather threat across parts of the south into the southeast. You can see we have a very strong area of low pressure. We got a lot of moisture coming up. We got a lot of instability in this area. And we got showers and thunderstorms forming across parts of eastern Oklahoma and eastern Texas on Monday evening. And as we go into the overnight hours into Tuesday, you can see this line of thunderstorms moves into Arkansas and Louisiana, bringing severe weather threats to both of these areas. This is a bit farther out, so we don't have exact details. We just have a general idea, but we know this is going to happen Monday night into Tuesday across much of the south. And as we go into late Tuesday into early Wednesday, it slides off toward the southeast, possibly bringing more severe weather threats to this area. We'll have to see on that. There could even be some winter weather up in the northeast, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe even Massachusetts. You guys could all see some winter weather out of this. This is going to be a very strong storm system, and this moves out of here as we go into later next week, and we got more storm systems, but we won't focus on those being over 2 weeks out. So taking a look at the instability, this is the energy that storms need to form. And as we go into tonight, you can see across Florida there is a bit of instability that will allow these storms to become strong to severe, with damaging winds being the big threat. And then as we go into Friday across parts of the south, we have more instability coming up with that other weaker storm system. Severe weather will be possible across parts of these areas. And this is where the Storm Prediction Center has that marginal risk outlined. As we go Friday into Saturday, where that slight risk is right in here, you can see there is a decent amount of instability, enough for some strong to severe storms. After that, things kind of quiet down for the weekend instability wise, but as we get into Monday, where that severe weather threat is possible across the central and southern U.S., you can see that instability really starts to surge forward across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. And in this area, you have instability values of 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram, which is enough for severe weather. And there's going to be very favorable wind dynamics in place too. I'll show that in just a second. As we go into Monday night and then Tuesday, that daytime heating allows more instability to form across Louisiana. And with the wind energy in place, this is a very concerning look through here. You have anywhere from 1,000 to up to 2,000, maybe even 2,500 joules per kilogram a cape. And that is more than enough for severe weather. And if you have isolated supercells in these areas, that tornado threat could be an issue. The main thing is we need to determine where this low pressure is going to be, because the GFS has it up here, which allows more moisture to flow to the north, but the European has it down here, so all of this energy is pushed down to the south a bit more. But that is something we'll figure out in the next few days as models come into more agreement. However, it's looking like Monday into Tuesday there could be a significant risk of severe weather across this area. We'll just have to iron out the details. And as we go later into the week, you can see this area of instability moves more into the southeast. However, there isn't as much, but there could be a severe weather risk there as well. Now if we take a look at the upper level winds, this is 500 millibars halfway up into the atmosphere. As we go into Monday into Tuesday, you can really see where this storm system is. Right through here we have a bowling ball low pressure, and this is going to shoot off to the east, and these reds are areas of higher winds. And these upper level winds help to grow severe thunderstorms. They really help develop those updrafts and lead to strengthening. And unlike a summertime thunderstorm, these winds help to keep these storms up so they don't just collapse after 30 minutes. And you can really see as we go into Monday afternoon into Tuesday, we got these really strong upper level winds right across where the severe weather threat's going to be highest. So for example, Tuesday afternoon, we have these strong upper level winds across much of Arkansas, northeast Texas, much of Louisiana. And if we take a look at where the Cape is at the same time, they overlap in these areas. And this is where severe weather is looking to be a big concern possibly. And lastly, I want to talk about the winter weather threat. The GFS has this area of heavy snow across parts of Kansas up into Iowa and Wisconsin. Now if we look over at the European model for the same exact time, nothing. Nothing at all. And if we go over and look at the Canadian model, it has a little bit of snow across parts of Illinois and Wisconsin. However, all of these models do have a little bit of snow across parts of the Northeast. And of course the Rocky Mountains are going to get a lot of snow. But this area right in here, not too sure yet. There's a lot of model uncertainties, and it really all depends on the track of this low pressure, as well as the severe weather threat. If the low pressure is stronger, draws in more cold air, more snow on the northern side. If it's weaker, it's not going to draw in as much cold air, leading to more rain. Anyways, that's going to wrap up my video today. Severe weather is looking likely as we get into early next week, as well as the next couple of days I mentioned earlier in this video. Snow is a possibility across the central United States, however, we're not too sure on that yet. It's either going to be a little or it's either going to be a lot. There's not really an in-between, especially for areas like Iowa up into Wisconsin. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So if you live in parts of the South, you might want to start getting ready. Have a way to receive warnings, know where your safe spot is, because this is just the beginning, and as we get later into the season, severe weather is going to happen more and more. It's just that time of the year, folks. Anyways, I'm going to finish things off there. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, be sure to click that like button and subscribe, share with others. I'll see you guys in the next video. In the next couple of days, I'll talk more about the severe weather threat once details start to become more clear. I'll see you then. Have a great day.